Now we're on the final table. Limp, 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 fold, fold, okay. Only one play for me here. Shove. I can't raise. I'm trying to play a pot. There's so much in that pot. Looking at how much is in that pot is just unbelievable. Like, it's a third of my stack and I have a decent stack size, so I want it. I would be shoving really wide here. Probably suited connectors, suited aces, like ace-8 suited. Probably going to be shoving there, just because of how much is in there and how weak these limps are. A shove and a flat, and I've got nines. I don't see a problem with doing either one here, going ahead and folding or shoving. Folding is admitting that powers of 93 could potentially have a bigger pair, but then there's the fact that they both might have just big cards, and there's a lot of big cards for a chance of knocking me out, and I'm not coin flipping because there's so many big cards. I probably should have shoved here, but I go ahead and fold anyways. Let's go ahead and play this one out just to see. Okay, so it turns out it was a really good fold. Maybe I just had a read on powers of 93, knowing that he would never make that call, but a lot of people would make that call with worse pairs than nines, actually, and they would have reshoved better ones, except for like the aces and the kings. Okay, so next hand, nothing, nothing, nothing again. And remember how small I was? Not so small anymore, and now I'm on the final table. But now we got a limp under the gun. There's a decent amount in this pot. I don't want to raise it and play out of position, so it's either shove or check. So I choose to check, and the idea behind checking is I can get him to bet, because there's a good chance he's going to bet if I check to him when I hit, because he's going to want to take the pot down, being the big stack in position when there's an ace on the board and everybody checked. And in this particular situation, if I had hit that ace, he would have probably doubled me up. And it's because I checked. If I had shoved there, I'm not going to get that double up, although I am going to win the pot like right now, which is one of the reasons why I'm okay with shoving it, because there's 8,000 in the chips, or 8,000 in the pot, which is a decent pickup for us. But it's like, do we want to win 8,000 every time, or maybe lose to him having queens right now, or kings or aces or something really big, or a random pocket pair that's coin flipping against us? Or do we want to have the opportunity to stack somebody with a weaker king or a weaker ace and double up on them? I like that, taking that double up chance, having so many chips still. And I could actually shove this one. If this was suited, I probably would shove this one. Depends on the stacks or the stats of the limper, though. But again, people are limping. Usually they're weak. Usually they have low pocket pairs if they actually have anything. So as long as you've got high cards, suited cards, connected cards, shoving over the top of a limper is usually a good idea. Raise from under the gun, +1. It's a big raise. I think I'll pass. Ace-queen suited just doesn't hold up well against the range that I'm going to be facing there. Short stack raises the minimum and gets called. You know, I could shove this over the top of him here, but the reality is short stack min raising doesn't bode well. He's not going to fold. He's probably got a really good hand, so folding is probably the best idea. Alright, we are now in late position with a suited connector. It's not terribly connected, but it is connected. It can indeed hit straights. Pot size is 7,700, so that means the adjusted big blind is like 5,000. So I'm sitting here with 5 adjusted big blinds with a suited connector in layup position. Should probably just shove this, and I didn't, so that was a mistake, especially because everyone here behind me has the same size stack as me, and when that's the case, you should be shoving a little wider because they have to call a little lighter. I mean a little tighter, because they're worried about the knockout as well. So I definitely should be shoving this here. Ooh, and I folded again. Yeah, that's just a mistake. That's a decent hand in late position. Everyone has same size stack as me somewhat. If I fold here, I might run the risk of getting a little short. But sometimes multi-tabling creates mistakes. Sometimes just anxiety creates mistakes. Running bad creates mistakes. Running good creates mistakes. Okay, so that's a terrible flop. Guy limps in late position. I'm obviously going to check it to him. He bets here. I mean, I could try and do something with this, but I don't have enough chips to do anything. Like, if I was super deep here, I don't know if I'm going to let him get away with just a little min bet at this, but I'm not super deep, so take it down, buddy. And see, yeah, I ran the risk of not taking a shove and put myself in the situation where now I'm under the gun with 4 real big blinds, and I cannot afford to possibly see the big blind hit me without shoving here. And Jack 6 suit or Jack 6 offsuit is not a good hand, but it's got a Jack, which is a higher card, a 6, which is, you know, not terrible. So I could get called by hands that I'm 60-40 against. You know, I'm probably not going to be 65-35 against much, or 35% against 65% with me. It's like, usually you should shove here, but I shouldn't have put myself in this situation. I should have just raised the ace 5 or the 8-5 suited and the jack 9 suited in a better position. But I got called and I still end up winning, so that's nice. Makes up for the mistake. Okay, I gotta shove here. Powers of 93. I'm assuming based on everything this guy's been doing, he's a decent player. So a decent player doing this, he's probably just trying to get me to fold. So I'll just shove. And you can make that shove pretty wide against that type of guy. Oh. Yeah, I guess this one's pretty self-explanatory. Sitting here right at like, let's see, pot size is 8,500, so adjusted big blind is like 5,800 or something like that. So I got like 8 big blinds. When you're that short, you really can't raise and call a shove, and so just go ahead and shove. King Queen isn't good enough to do it with anyways. If I had a hand that was like really good, like maybe Ace Queen here, I can make a raise and expect to call it shove, and that's actually just getting value for a good hand. But King Queen is not a quote-unquote good hand. It's good all in, but it's not good calling all ins. And clearly going to go ahead and give it a shove here. He's super short. Not going to let that one get away. And I win. Thank you. That's convenient.